What up, fam? Today we take these old landscaping spikes and turn them into leather crafting tools. Stick around. So you want to get into leather crafting, but you don't have any tools. No worries, with a little ingenuity, we can make our own. For this project, I'm going to be using this landscaping spike I have, but you can use like a bolt or anything with a sufficient enough head. I'm going to start by replicating this beveling stamp, which is one of the key tools you'll need for all leather tooling projects. I start over on the belt sander to make sure the head of my spike is as flat as possible. Using a Sharpie as a marking fluid, I cover the top of my spike. As you can see, the stamp I'm trying to copy has kind of a squared off wedge shape with rounded corners. Using an awl to scratch away some of the Sharpie, I'm able to lay out the basic shape I'm going for on the top of my spike. To cut in that shape, I'm using my Dremel with a grinding wheel attachment, but you can use a hacksaw or a file. In truth, you could probably do this entire project with just a hacksaw and a file. But I have the tools, so why not use them? With all that extra material removed, I now have the basic shape of my leather stamp. Now looking back at the original stamp, I see I need to start adding in this wedge shape. So just as before, I color the side of the head of my spike and scratch in the shape I'm going for with my awl. Then I head back to the sander to grind everything into that shape. After achieving the wedge shape, I also start to round out the corners so it looks more like the original stamp. Now, though I'm happy with that shape, I want to refine it just a little bit more as any variance in the metal will show up in the leather. To that end, I start honing the shape in using various grits of sandpaper, starting at 220 and ending at 400. This leaves me with a nice smooth finish that I'm happy with. Next, I compare my spike with the size of the actual stamp so I know how much I need to cut off. Just so you know, that's about 4.5 inches long. After removing the excess with my hacksaw, I went back in with a file just to make sure there aren't any sharp edges. Then I went in with a buffing wheel to shine up the rest of the metal just for looks. To test out my creation, I cut a line in some leather, and then tried my stamp side by side with the store-bought stamp. Fam, if there is a difference, it is negligible. And in total, I think that landscaping spike cost me about 75 cents, so I'm in the green here.
Store-bought.
To show you how versatile this is, I decided to make a backgrounder tool as well. Just as before, I started over at my sander, but this time I sanded the head into kind of a dome shape. Then, using a diamond engraving bit on my Dremel, I began filling it with little pits of various sizes. This was super simple. You just have to leave the Dremel head still for as long as you want, depending on the size of the hole you need. The end result is this cool pebbled texture that kind of looks like the moon. And when you stamp it into the leather, check that out, it looks just like the pebble backgrounder tools do. With this tool, I can fill up large areas of blank space to add some texture and interest to the piece. And there you have it, now you can make your own leather tools. Happy crafting, and as always, keep leveling up, you.